And we are live. All right. Thank you all for joining us. If you are joining us after the live stream, thank you all for joining in After Effect. If you're here with us live, please make sure to follow along and comment your thoughts as we go through these cards. We're going to be looking specifically at the cards from Supercharged Breaker, which was this week, in its entirety. We've already previously looked at Paradise Dragona and the cards from the Stellar Starter sets. So we're going to be focused again on specifically the cards from Supercharged Breaker. And we're going to start out here with Executes.
Is that intentional? The Solar Crown logo on it?
Execute is going to be our first card here with Absorb and Executor with Explosion Hour. I don't think it's especially good, frankly. This seems more like a fun gimmick deck.
What was that one that you had with the cactus?
Maractus.
Practice.
But we don't have Chairman format anymore because it rotated less this last year. So, unfortunately, I don't think this has really any good legs in format. Now, in Eternal, it could be a fun meme deck, but I don't think it would be very good
How
either
many
way.
coins do you want to flip?
All of
That
them.
should be the name of the deck.
Up next is Durant EX from Supercharged Breaker. Has the ability Sudden Scrape. When you play this Pokemon down from your hand onto your bench during a turn, you may use this ability, discard the top card of your opponent's deck.
The most underperforming card that should have been better in the set.
Then it has an attack called Revenge Crash. And it looks like our stream is dying. If you are watching this live stream, please let us know how stable it is for you. Are we being interrupted constantly by loading? If it is, we may take this offline and just upload this in a little bit here. It does look like the stream is kind of struggling a little bit. We'll get to Palossand EX when we get to the Psychic Pokemon. Right now, we're focused on Grass.
I love Durant just because of Eternal, and I love the mill decks. So I am incredibly disappointed with this card, and it makes me so sad.
I know. When I saw this, I was like, "Oh, Caleb's gonna hate it."
So
It was
So-
like you mill the top 5 for ability. That would have been.
that would have been ridiculous. Then there's Revenge Crash, which is 120 plus damage, and then it's like Charizard, and then it does 30 more damage for each prize card your opponent's taken. So you can do what?
It's 30 more, you said?
30 more.
30
Which
plus
is,
120, so 270.
yeah, which is
No,
not terrible.
it's-
It's not terrible. It's a little bit higher of an attack cost, but it's a basic Pokemon.
It's okay. It's,
I don't think you can build around it unless we get some sort of like grass type welder in future.
yeah, we need grass acceleration. A good grass acceleration.
That's the biggest problem is we don't seem to have anything of the sort. They're afraid to give anything to grass.
It's bad time to be a grass.
Scatterbug evolves into Spupa, which evolved into Vivian. Vivian has the attack Evolution Powder for each of your bench Pokemon. search your deck for a card that evolves from that Pokemon and put it on that Pokemon to evolve it, then shuffle your deck.
I know there was a bit of talk about this card in Eternal, but or like a Slowking style deck.
I don't
I feel like you
think-
had to pair Great Tree with it though.
I don't even know that you'd play it with Great Tree. I think genuinely you just play Leafeon GX. What do you think? This versus Leafeon GX?
I'd say Leafeon.
I mean,
DK,
Leafeon's
dude.
just better. It like you get the EVs that get it out turn 1, so I
Yeah.
think there might be like Scatterbugs and Swoopas that.
There are, but like, why?
Yeah, it's like it's one extra step.
Yeah, I just don't feel like it's worth that step.
For more cards too.
Yeah. And our next card from Supercharged Breaker is Capsicid. We'll be looking at the Scovillain here in a little bit. Rellor, though, does evolve into Rabsca. Rabsca has triple draw for 3 cards. And then Twist Ending does 40 plus damage. If there are 3 or fewer cards in your deck, this attack does 200 more damage. So this is very similar to Excadrill from, I believe it's Cosmic Eclipse.
So Christian's building Rapsca.
Is there a way to easily consistently do this and then not lose the game?
So somehow they pulled it off back then.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, how did Excadrill do it? What was the
I'm
strategy?
trying to remember.
Was it
I
Lysander?
don't. No, this is before Lysander. After Lysander. Long after
Lysander,
Lysander.
yeah, it was way up.
What was the other card? Was it Radiant Steelix that required you to be like super low, like
Yeah.
last card?
Well,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it made you discard 2, I think, like 1 card left in the deck, and then it deals damage for each energy that
Well,
you
we
discard.
found
But
the
that's discard. If you was like to like, yeah, you need to find a way to like draw as many cards as you can into your deck, and then I own them back in.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like one of those cards that in a vacuum could be good. We just have to kind of make it work the same way that Excadrill did. And I'm not entirely sure that's doable.
Can you do it in Eternal with like the eggs?
Probably.
I will say with Dragapult up on the rise currently, and there is the other Rapsca that blocks Dragapult. So, you have that built into that sort of deck.
Yeah,
So that's
possible.
nice.
There's also Wo-Chien. Wo-Chien has Greed Hazard. And it says, it does 20 damage, and it says, if there are 3 or fewer cards in your deck, so this obviously is meant to pair up with Rabsca, this attack also does 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's benched Pokemon.
Not good enough for that risk.
You could slap a counter energy on there. In Eternal. It's decent in Eternal. Volpix and Tails is not from Supercharged Breaker, Paleontauros, Rear Kick, and Hardy Tackle rather. Does 180 damage to stage 1 Pokemon. For 3 energy. Seems kind of rough.
Yeah, too much cost. If it was 2 energy, it'd
Okay,
be great.
this is the first card I'm actually somewhat interested in. Victini has the ability Victory Cheer. Attacks used by your Evolution Fire Pokemon do 10 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance.
It's a +1.
It's a plus 10 damage,
So it's just a Moltres for evolved fire types.
basically.
So
What evolved fire types are we using? That's
Cerulege.
Cerulege is the one that I was thinking of, but
But again,
frankly,
that's-
fire energy is just better. Or any energy is better.
They pulled up the
But
deck.
this stacks, right?
It does stack.
So you're
Oh,
telling me
true.
if I had
Moltres didn't stack.
if I had 2 of these out, I could have won.
And it does have 70 energy, so it's poffinable.
Yeah.
Or 70 HP, not energy.
I just
well-
I don't know if it's enough to make Cerulege like.
I like a 1 of it because sometimes it's like, okay, cool, I'm
It
hand
always
short,
it-
but
it-
you have a nest ball in your hand. You
I
don't have a way
definitely-
to get an energy card.
I definitely see it as a 1-of because there are so many matches where it is that magical 10.
Yeah, because Cerulege, because it has the 30 base, offsets it to odd numbers, and a lot of things have even numbered HP. So it just, I guess it kind of makes sense to run one.
But at what point is it better to run just another energy?
Sometimes the energy we can't get to the energy, but we have a nest ball. That's what I'm saying. Just a single copy to give you that option.
Yeah. Maybe.
So I pulled up the deck list.
Look at
It,
So we have Volcarona here. Volcarona has Raging Flutter for 150, which is not very good. That's unfortunately bulk. We have Sizzlepede and Centiskorch. That's the bulk. We have Skeletorch. Has Unaware. Prevent all effects all effective attacks from your opponent's Pokemon done to this Pokemon. So it has that built-in protection from stuff like instant kill.
I honestly do kind of like this one. Honestly, especially for GLC.
It also has Flare Recital. So basically, just like Entei or like Origin Form Palkia V-Star, you have that 60 plus damage, like Origin for Palkia V-Star, and then it does 20 more damage for each bench Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. So it's a Stage 2, but you still get that big damage that you're doing.
And it's a one price.
It's a one prizer. It is a Stage 2,
It has 3 retreat.
and it can't just be one shot by some big effect.
With Magma Basin still in this, I like this a lot.
I honestly do really like it.
I think it's fun at the very least.
I think it's solid.
It's probably not like competitive, but I think it'd be like
I
a
think
fun
you-
ladder deck.
I think
Yeah.
there's something here.
It'll definitely see play in
I
GLC.
mean, pair it with the Victini, right?
Do a little extra damage that way. Because the Victini basically becomes 30 damage at that point. Which, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Up next, we have a Charcadet, Armourouge, and Cerulege from Supercharged Breaker. The Charcadet probably won't play because it doesn't have one retreat or free retreat. And we do have one retreat Charcadet format.
It has 80 HP too, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then that's also bad, yeah. And then Armourouge does Combustion which does 50 damage for 2 energy. Crimson Blaster for Fire Colorless does discard all fire energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 180 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Which seems
a little
I
reminiscent of
don't
the
like
Kyogre.
that because there's still too much bench barrier.
there's a lot of bench barrier in this format.
It's literally like Reggie Lecky all over again.
If
Yeah.
we're playing
Edges.
3 Cerulege, I wouldn't mind it as a snipe option, just in case.
I just don't like in Cerulege EX, I don't think you play this. Because Cerulege EX is built on the fact that you're only having to attach a single energy to
Yeah.
attack. This deck requires 3 energy.
Yeah,
Look at
you wouldn't be able to build telegraph it as soon as you see it attaching more than the single
Yeah.
energy.
You would have to have access to
Says
reversal energy. And if we're thinking about cutting Countercatcher from that list, I definitely don't think we're putting reversal in there. After that is Cerulege. Cerulege has the attack Blaze Curse. Discard all special energy from each of your opponent's Pokemon. I don't know how good that actually is because Lugia is pretty conservative with how it runs its energy.
But there's only like one big archetype that runs it, so
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. And then Black Flame Slash does 160 damage, and then it can't attack next turn.
I can definitely see at least like maybe somebody running like a one of the Cerulege for when they do hit the Lugia matchup, and if they're like, oh, Iron Hands, and then you just discard all the energy from Iron Hands, and it's just
Yeah.
trapped in the active, not being able to attack, and they'd have to put more energy on it to actually retreat it.
Yeah, maybe. Like I think it's one of those cards that in a niche, like if there's a niche for it, it'll pop up. But it's
Sander will make it.
you
work.
gotta find that niche. Yeah.
Sander will work it. Also, the art is really nice.
I mean it's an attack. I'd rather just Jet Plumber.
Yeah, it's a supporter. I'm good. Skill Villain says it has the ability Double Type, which makes it both grass and fire when it's in play. It has this card's interesting to me. It has the attack called Spicy Rage. It does 10 plus damage, and it says this attack does 70 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon.
Put.
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 Oh, an Eternal? Yeah. This is fire in
This is
Eternal.
called Unknown Peace Simulator.
Yeah, this is going to be super good in Eternal. I'm not worried about
Is
that.
this my new
Maybe.
demon?
Maybe. It might
That's
be.
awesome.
2 fires.
Because you have
is
Welder in
incredibly
Eternal
easy.
also.
Yeah, 2 fires.
You will in Eternal you'll have to run something to
It's a
shut off
very easy
weakness.
deck. Yeah.
Yeah, but because Palkia and Blastoise are both everywhere in Eternal, but it's still good, I think. And you're able to one shot Zard too.
Yeah.
Because Zard's weak to grass. I like it.
I don't know what it does in standard after Magma Basin rotates though.
I mean, I'm not sure what it does in standard before or after, or like before Magma Basin rotates for that matter. Like the damage output is good. Magma Basin puts 2 damage counters on it. That puts you at 150 for damage, right? But I feel like you need more than that.
You probably have to do like Gengar damage pump.
That's asking for a lot.
I mean, assuming Zoroark's asking for a lot.
I know. Look how successful that
Yeah,
guy
but
is.
at least since we're in Zoroark, like you're spreading the damage around. It's not. It has to go on him.
Yeah, at least this can hit for weakness.
It's true.
Zara cannot.
I mean, yeah,
I mean, this could hit Charizard in standard.
we don't have anything to make to like hit it itself, huh?
The fun thing in Eternal, this really likes the Kaparacha matchup.
Yeah. Caparajah does run Metal Frying Pan, though, so there's that much.
Probably.
I mean, Paparasha one-shots this too.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know.
Basically, who gets
We will definitely try this out, though. We'll come up with some ideas for it, I'm sure. Up next is Gouging Fire from Paradise Dragona. Lunge out does 30 damage for a single fire energy, and then Blazing Support does 100 plus damage. If your opponent has four or fewer prize cards remaining, this attack does 70 damage, so 170 if your opponent has 4 or fewer prize cards.
Yeah, I can one-shot
That's an easy-
walk halfway through the game.
That's
Woohoo.
easy. Too big of a energy cost though.
Yeah.
It is. It's way too high. I would rather have like a rally back.
Just play the Chi-Yu. It's got 2.
Paldean Tauros has Uppercut Horn, does 30 damage. You may put up to 2 energy attached to your opponent's active stage 2 Pokemon into their hand.
I don't like.
That is very specific.
I don't like that it's an
Into
active
their
stage.
hand?
Yes.
But isn't the water archetype just the one that doesn't like that wants it back in their hand?
Usually. And then Jet Headbutt is 100 damage. I don't think it's good, unfortunately. We do have a Milotic EX. It has the ability Sparkling Scales. Prevent all damage from and attacks of effects. Sorry, yeah, and effects of attacks from your opponent's Terra Pokemon done to this Pokemon. So
I
this is a
mean-
Terra Wall
I mean, Charizard.
and Drag.
Are we so reliant on Terras at the moment that
I
that
think
could
they're
actually
making
see like sneaky play?
And the thing is, it is a stage 1. So that's something you have to take into consideration because you're going to be telegraphing a 30 HP Feebas.
That's
It also blocks Pikachu.
It does, but you're telegraphing a 30 HP Feebas.
Or a 40 HP Ditto Wisdom.
Internal. That's interesting though. Like, what would we pair this with? Because it just doesn't have the output to be its own archetype.
No.
Well,
This feels like a wall that some sort of control archetype would have to run. Or you could throw it down in Kingdra.
yeah. I don't like Kingdra enough to like.
I don't like Kingdra very much either, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, when Irida rotates, it's gonna be a sad day.
Hey, it puts your opponent to sleep. How about that?
Yeah, then they wake up in between turn.
Yeah, I know.
Up next, we have Spheal, Celio, and Walrein. Walrein has the attack Frozen Fangs for a single water energy. It does 60 damage, and then you have the effect during your opponent's next turn. Pokemon with 2 or fewer energy attached cannot attack. This includes new Pokemon that come into play.
This is the Lorraine that you're baiting.
No. This
I don't
Is an
know how I
interesting
feel about it. I
effect.
really don't. There are with 2 or fewer, meaning you need at least 3.
yes. So this is Shuckle. EGX is what it is. Or no, it's Shuckle's EX. It's literally that effect.
So your Zard needs a missed energy to attack.
Yeah.
What about? Wait, does it miss energy?
No, it would just be that.
No, it'd be the
Hey,
third
Caleb,
energy.
It's your counter to Dragonfall.
Yeah. Oh, it's a stage 2 Kingdra. What are the tools for Kingdra to pull out?
I mean, maybe.
See, now at this point, you're just telegraphing that you want to do Kingdra.
Oh, I've already had my Kingdras like waiting.
I don't know. It feels like it's kind of interesting, and it does only cost 1 water, but like it's just not very good.
Because again, 60, cool. It's gonna take us 4 turns to get to
To knock out
a
Toronto
regular.
Waves,
Yeah.
and with nothing on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems a lot. Shellos will evolve into Gastrodon. We'll look at that later. And then we do have our next card here from Supercharged Breaker is Iron Bundle, which has Gust Collision, which does 200 minus damage. This attack does 50 less damage for each colorless in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost.
It's so good.
It's for 3 energy. It's terrible.
It one-shots Mew for 3 energy. Wow.
Yeah.
If it was 2 energy, I'd say maybe.
Chen Pao. Hey, this guy. I bet you guys will like this one. You ready for this? Abilities. No sync. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may discard a stadium in play.
So it's puking into
It's Pumpkaboo.
It's Pumpkaboo.
Pumpkaboo.
And it's similar to Marshall.
At
Okay.
least this
So
is a
hold on.
Pumpkaboo with one
Hold on.
retreat cost.
Let's
Or
keep
Tauros,
reading,
even.
because if it is a useful Pokemon, then it just happens to be a utility, right?
I think this sort of card could totally foreshadow like a
Wait.
A new path.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, that does have damage, right?
It does. It's missing on the
It also says
card.
water, water, water. That's supposed to be water, water.
Yes. It is not water.
Water.
It is, however, Icicle Loop, which does 120 damage. It does put an energy attached to this Pokemon into your hand.
I don't mind it. One of.
I mean, the question is, what deck wants this?
Something not
Yes.
playing Area Zero?
Because it's not like before, back when Path of Peak was everywhere, a lot of decks even then still did not run Pumpkaboo.
So they did when it started, and then they phased it out. Then they were just like, we'll deal with Paths of the Peak as it comes out.
That's the problem. Is that how they treated it? We don't even have Path in format right now, and
Well,
there's nothing like it in Stadium form.
and like I said, I think Area Zero is played enough right now that it might be the thing to bump. Like to control their ability
Maybe
to do
it's
so.
post rotation, but we have just vacuum. Just play vacuum. You don't have to waste a bench spot. But
Yeah, and this is when you play it from your hand, right?
Yeah.
That's when you play it. So if you're going against stall, they force it down.
I miss Quick Ball.
I don't. Anyway, up next is Pikachu EX. Pikachu EX is pretty good. It is indeed Pikachu. It has the ability Enduring Heart. If this Pokemon has full HP and would be knocked out by damage from an attack, it is not knocked out when its remaining HP becomes 10. And then Topaz Bolt for Grass, Lightning, Metal. It's called Topaz Bolt, which does 300 damage. Discard 3 energy from this Pokemon.
So Crystal's being played in this, right?
For sure.
So it's discard 3 energy from it, not discard all energy from it.
Correct.
Card 3.
Well, okay, so let's talk about cost versus
Although,
payment for
hear me
attack.
out.
Like effect.
Eternal, Sparkling Crystal plus Limit Mountain.
So yeah, Jason, can you clarify that for us?
What about it?
So is it a cost, or is it do as much as you can
You
do?
do as much as you can do.
So in other words, Sparkling Crystal would allow you to just discard the 2.
Yep, you do as much as you can do,
I
which would
think
be
I
2.
just made Caleb really happy for Eternal.
And then if you had Thunder Mountain Prism, sorry, you could theoretically discard just the 1.
Thunder
And
Mountain
or
and Prism.
Thunder Mountain or Sparkling Crystal, you could just pay counter energy too.
Yeah, also.
That's so ridiculous. Holy shit. That ability, I think the ability alone is what makes it a fucking solid card.
I think it's good in
The
standard
built-in
and in
survival
Eternal.
race is insane.
And the fact that again, it's also a basic. Like
What
it's
about
not
the
something
team?
you have to set up. It's literally
Lucha's all over the format.
Right?
Until they rip. Oh wait, no, they're from base sets. So
Yeah, that's who base.
Up next, Magneton.
never heard of it.
And this is why we hate Pikachu.
Magneton has the ability Overvolt Discharge. Once during your turn, you may attach up to 3 basic energy cards from your discard pile
Wait a minute.
to your Lightning Pokemon in any way you like.
This
If
card?
you use this ability, this Pokemon is knocked out.
This doesn't say basic lightning. This says basic energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
This is very much.
Magneton plus Pikachu. Let's go.
This is very much intended to work with.
Magneton, Pikachu, name a better duo.
I mean, either way, it's shocking.
Good got him.
Just shoot me now.
I think it's good.
Let's look at the Magnezone. Like
The Magneton is ass.
is it really
It's so bad.
magnetic correction?
Magnetic Cooperation for Lightning Double Colorless, 80 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat.
Meh.
And then Lightning Triple Colorless Zap Cannon, 180 damage. This Pokemon cannot use Zap Cannon during your next turn.
Do we have a better Magnezone in format?
Yeah, like 2 or 3 of them.
It's called Magnezone X.
Yeah, literally a lot better than. Rotom has Crash Pulse. This card is interesting.
Yeah, this Rotom's
It's very interesting. Rotom has Crash Pulse. Your opponent reveals their hand. Discard any item and Pokemon tool cards you find there.
It has the wrong HP though. Is my problem with it.
Yeah.
It does not have 70 HP. It's true. but it is what it is. You can still get it out with
And
Maridon.
again, control archetypes love this card.
Yeah.
This card's really strong.
Yeah.
This card's really
You remember that?
I know when I posted the translation of Poke Beach, they were like, it's translated wrong, right? No.
Remember that whole item in Pokemon Tool being two distinct cards?
Not
Rotom
anymore.
says.
Rodum says, screw all of them
It
anyway.
really feels like they're trying to go anti-stage 2 nowadays.
It does feel good.
Because
Like
that's what
that.
that card really
Well, hold on. So that's essentially what they did, though. Like they leaned the format, the early format, into stage 2 to get rid of the power creep, and now it's like, okay, cool. Now let's balance out stage 2s as we literally leave all Bs and B stars behind.
It's just, I don't know. It feels like they're making basics really, really strong right now.
Yeah, I feel like I'm really sad that both Blitzle and Zubstrika suck.
Didn't you like call that there was going to be a Substriker card and then it was dog shit?
This is
I
literally
did.
like, why did you even print this?
Yeah.
Like, I like Zubstrika. It's one of my favorite Pokemon from Gen 5, but come
This is a
on.
Battle Academy card.
It really is. And Stunfisk got screwed too. Stunfisk has static numbness. It does 50 damage to the point if heads your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed, and discard an energy from that Pokemon.
So lightning and color is for 50.
Yeah, I mean you're paralyzing them.
No, you're not.
And you're
You're
You're gonna play Will every turn in a turn. Okay. No, it's pretty rough. I'm not happy with it. We do have Tapu Koko, which has Call for Thunder. Search your deck up to 2 lightning Pokemon, reveal them, put them in your hand, then shuffle your deck. And then for lightning colorless, prize count, which does 90 plus damage. If you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, this attack does 90 more damage.
I do like this.
Or you play Maridon, you get the first attack on an ability and do 30 more damage for the same energy cost of the second attack.
Yeah, see, it feels bad.
But you're not putting out a freaking 2 prize.
Yeah, but you'd have to be behind on price cards for this anyway. I would consider this much more if this were a free retreater. It's not.
If it was a pivot.
If it were a free retreater, I would be like, okay, yeah, maybe. But it's not a free retreater. I am also sad that these guys suck. I love Wattrel. It's one of my favorite. I think it's probably my favorite Pokemon from Gen 9. But these cards are not good.
Is the gym promo or something already been on the previous Paradise Dragona?
I don't know what we've talked about. We can talk about it since we're talking about Kilowattrel anyway. Kilowattrel EX has return charge, so it's a Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon, then attach up to 2 basic lightning energy from your hand to this Pokemon. So that's for a single lightning energy there. And then for 2 colorless energy, Thunderlance. This attack does 40 more damage for each lightning energy attached to this Pokemon.
Not enough output.
It's awful.
Mm-hmm.
Free retreat's nice, but that's about it.
I like the whole like pivot attacks. It's just
Yeah, it's
cool
gotta have
now.
something cool to pivot into, like Maridon, or not Maridon. Maybe Q is only so good. Maridon is lightning colorless. It has the attack protection code, which does 40 damage. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage onto your future Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon EX. If this Pokemon leaves the active spot, this effect stops working.
Why can't we just leave it there? Why did we have to have that last sentence?
I know, right? And then Thunderclaws does 100 damage for 3
Really?
energy. It's not good, unfortunately. It sucks. We also have Togekiss. This is an interesting card, too. It has the ability Wonder Kiss. When your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out, flip a coin. If heads, take 1 more prize card. This ability does not stack.
So just to clarify, you just need it on the bench. You don't need to be attacking with it.
Correct. It's an ability.
That's interesting.
Free prize on a card, but it's a stage 2.
So something that I need to go back and look at the text on this a little bit more to confirm. But it says whenever your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out. It doesn't say anything about it being by damage or on your turn or on their turn.
Oh,
It's their active Pokemon like that.
Nope, doesn't say. Oh, it does have to be active. I guess that's not that bad then. I was thinking a Dusknoir, but it's just not if they have to be active. It doesn't really
Yeah,
matter.
Dusknoir
They're not going to do it
is
from the active anyway.
Dusknoir doesn't have the active?
They can do it from the active, but they probably won't.
It's not a bad pivot option. At the end of
I
the
still
day.
think, again, a 1/1 line somewhere, just sneak it in. It's essentially saying, flip a coin, would you like another prize?
Yeah, I mean, if you get 2 prize cards off of Dusknoir,
Flip
like,
a coin.
Let's play a lucky deck.
right.
Add the Chansey in there.
Flip a coin. You get to take.
Actually,
the normal
let's give that
knockback.
deck to Ryan. He'll probably hit it every single
Oh, I
time.
would recommend.
stellar starter sets. They have some
Up next, we have a Yuxi, Mesprit, and a Zelf. Yuxi has the attack Painful Memories, which for a single psychic energy puts 2 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon. Mesprit has Spiritual Fulfillment. Attach up to 2 basic psychic energy cards from your hand to your Pokemon in any way you like. And Spirit Burst for double psychic, which is 160 damage. If you don't have Yuxi and a Zelf on the bench, this attack does nothing. And a Zelf has Mind Kinesis for Psychic Colorless, which does 10 plus damage. This attack does 10 more damage for each damage counter on all of your opponent's Pokemon.
Is it weird? I don't feel like this is that bad.
I mean,
To be fair, I want to say specifically, the Yuxi is quite good.
the Yuxi seems okay.
The Yuxi, like, I think that's the first time we've had an attack like that on a basic Pokemon.
Because you're putting 2 damage counters on each of
On
their Pokemon.
each, yeah.
Which is something.
I think before the best thing we had was the Mismagius from Silver Tempest, and that was a stage 1. This is a basic that you can buddy pop and do for 1 energy.
Yeah.
That seems really good because you can start stacking those damage counters really easily with other stuff.
Internally, pair this up with Weezing.
I want to pair this with something.
Pair it with Weezing and Eternal.
I don't know if it's a Weezing card just because it costs a psychic and not a colorless, but I was thinking more. There's a.
The not that Weezing, I don't think.
Are you talking about Blowaway Bomb?
No. Detention Gas, I think it is.
I don't recall that one.
I can't
Because what I was thinking is, of course, I'm thinking about Aegislash.
Unbroken
But
Bonds.
Aegislash, there's an Aegislash from Breakpoint which has the attack, like Painful Swords or something, and it doubles all damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon.
Yeah, there's
And I
another
so want to do
Pokemon
something like
in
that.
Celebration that does the same thing.
Just have it be like an Aegislash deck.
Yeah.
Because you can Sprice Time Machine into different ones.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. I just don't know how feasible it is with how low of the HP it has.
I mean, it's interesting at the very least.
It is interesting. I'll give you that. Yamas and Cofagrigus. Cofagrigus has the attack Underworld rule. Put 6 damage counters on each of Pokemon that has an ability, both yours and your opponent's. Maybe that's how you do it for Squivillin. You just attack with this guy first. I'm being sarcastic for the record. That's what you shot does 100 damage. It's not good. Meowstic is vaguely interesting. It has the ability Tempting Tail. You must discard a Carefree Cat from your hand in order to use its ability. Once during your turn, switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot.
To be like, also, did you hear when you said cat toy how your cat reacted?
Yeah, she's silly. But I mean, it's not bad. And I think in 3, 4, 5, this would be pretty freaking good.
Do you
level ballable too?
It is.
So let me ask the question. Do you think that this will ever see play if boss rotates?
If boss rotates, maybe.
If boss
If boss rotates, we're back to like, oh, we need Gus in any
It would be-
any shape or form.
It would be Prime Catcher primarily.
Prime Catcher.
Well, Prime Catcher would be
Catcher.
super expensive. Counter Catcher would be the next best. And then if it gets printed again, Pokemon Catcher if it's around. But Pokemon Catcher is usually evergreen, so
So like, it still wouldn't see play then. Like we got,
I don't think so.
we just go to less Gus format.
Up next, we have Dedenne from Supercharged Breaker. It has electromagnetic sonar. Put a trainer card from your discard pile into your hand. That sound familiar, anyone?
Train your card.
That's Regieleki for you. I think it's okay in like a control style deck, but otherwise
70
probably not
HP.
useful.
It would have been more crazy if it was a pivot.
Can I just say for the record, that's really good art.
Yeah, the art's really good on it.
I love that art.
The illustration is just them be setting off a pivot.
All right. We had several people that were hyped for Palossand. Let's look finally at Palossand EX. Here it is in all its glory. Okay. And the attacks are for triple colorless, Sand Tomb, which does 160 damage. The defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn. And for water, Psychic Fire. Is that really? No, fighting. That always confuses me. No, even though I'm the one who put it there. You have Verai Jail, put damage counters on each of your opponent's bench Pokemon until its remaining HP is 100.
Don't we already have something like this?
Yeah, this is Victini, VMAX. It was not that good, and it was much easier to power up.
Because you had Welder back.
And you also had Galarian Rapidash V, which did the same thing, I think.
Yes.
And that was also much
Libra, whatever it's called.
Lieberhorn. Yeah, it was also much easier to power up. And this attack cost is absolutely atrocious for both attacks.
And Galarian Rapidash V was a basic. Like
Yes, it was.
that was, yeah, not good.
Hey guys, it works with heavy baton.
I mean, sure, it works every time. You do have that for attack cost, but like getting even one of these powered up in the first place is going to be absolutely horrifying. Like at the very least, and I would actually need to point this out too. Sandygast has 90 HP,
Sad.
so you're not poffering that guy up anyway. I know we have another Sandygast in the format. Is it also 90 HP? Yeah, we don't have a 70 HP Sandygast in
Has there
format.
ever been a Sad page?
No, we don't have one even internal.
Jeez.
So I'm just gonna call it now, guys. Barring some super good card that comes out after this,
Lovable.
it's just not playable. Like the attack Barrett Jail is not good enough. Sand Tomb is too expensive. I just don't see it being good. What do you guys think?
Nope.
It has a lot of HP for stage 1, but that's about it.
I mean, it's got the same amount of HP as like Palkia V-Star.
Yeah, but like a lot of the stage 1s we've seen, like Scoville have 260 and Sylveon
Yeah.
260, so it's got
So
a
it-
lot of HP.
I feel like it's 280, even though it's a higher end for a stage 1 EX.
Yeah.
It's still not like there's just great. It's gonna sit there for 2 turns while it gets knocked out. So
And what's worse too is it's also Dark Week.
Yeah, that's pretty bad weakness.
That's a horrible weakness between Ancient Box and Roaring Moon.
Charizard.
Charizard. It's just like 3 things in a row that are horrible for this card. That's just the Pokemon. I don't think this is very good, and it's probably not even playable, frankly. Up next is Fluttermane from Supercharged Breaker. Bewildering Trance. Remove all damage counters from one of your bench ancient Pokemon to your opponent's active Pokemon. And Moonblast does 70 damage. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon's attacks do 30 less damage before applying weakness and resistance.
The only way I can see this seeing play is if somehow they don't knock out your Roaring Moon after a Frenzied Gouging, and then you move 200 damage to their active, but like that's about it.
Yeah. I don't see it ever happening.
I mean, it's unlikely, but that's, I think, the only situation you would even be able to realistically use it.
Yeah, it just seems kind of niche.
I like the art.
Don't. I'm not
I
fond of it.
I'm a big Fluttermane fan, so I just like Fluttermane.
I don't know. The art to me is kind of.
I don't know. I like it.
It's cute and murderous.
It's gonna
Yeah,
steal your
it's
skin.
definitely murderous. Up next is Annihilate. Annihilate has the attack Tantrum for fighting energy.
He's so
He does 130, and then Destiny Fight. Both active Pokemon are knocked out.
Jesus.
He said, if I'm going, I'm taking you with me.
Mhm.
That's
How do we
crazy,
feel
though.
about Annihilate?
He's super
I-
emo.
I think it's definitely interesting.
We have a couple of other Annihilate that could be paired up with it, right? The EX, and then
I don't remember the EX being very good.
I don't either, but let's look.
Because we tried the EX.
We did. Put up to 12 damage counters on this Pokemon. This tag does 20 damage for each damage counter you place in this way. So you could be doing
I'm going to annihilate Christian Search.
12 damage.
Huh?
So you'd be doing what, 240 for that? For a single energy, which is not bad, to be fair. 240, but you are a state.
Ooh, this Fuller's kind of pretty.
Yeah. Rage Fist does damage for each prize card your opponent's taken. So theoretically, you could put a couple of each and then like just nuke them with the other one and then Rage Fist the last couple. I don't know. It seems okay, but not good. Up next, it's Paldean Tauros. I feel like we're seeing all of the Tauros. We have Smash Kick, which does 40 damage, and then Block Stomp, which does 90. As the defending Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, it cannot attack during your opponent's next turn. These attack costs on these Tauros are awful.
Yeah. They always are.
They have Fampi and Dawn
I
Fan.
want to say That fan art is me watching Ryan play Dragon Ball.
For the Doom that's coming, or just in general?
Just the oh shit, I'm fucked.
Overwhelm does 40 damage. This attack's damage is not affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. And for fighting double colorless, guard rolling, which is 120 damage, discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 800 less damage from attacks after applying weakness and resistance. I mean, minus 100 would be really good if it had HP, but minus 100 is only okay on Sylveon, and Sylveon has a lot more. So I don't know how I feel about that. What do you guys think?
I think that we should move on to the next Pokemon.
Did you say move on to the next bulk?
The next Pokemon. But no, it's just, you're right. Like, minus 100.
You guys feel
250 can be easily hit.
Oh, is the
Terrorledge can hit it.
not to jump ahead, but is that Vibrava art like connecting artwork?
Yes.
this guy?
Yeah, it looks like
Yes, it's part of the whole panel thing we saw earlier.
I like that they've been doing. It's refreshing.
Gastrodon is our next buddy here.
This is crazy.
As long as this Pokemon is on the bench stage 2 Pokemon, both yours and your opponents, have no abilities.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Why?
I love
there's
Gastrodon as a
Charizard.
Pokemon for the record.
So what? That affects Excalibur and Charizard?
Pidgeot?
And
Pidgeot.
Yeah.
And Gardevoir.
Oh.
Who cares about Gardevoir?
You literally just set 2 of these up. That's all you gotta do. Because if they boss up 1, there's still at least 1.
I mean, I don't think you're ever putting 2 of these in a deck, but it's funny.
Again, if they're taking the time to boss up one of them and kill it, you're already a turn ahead.
I mean, they don't even necessarily have to kill it. They can just stick it in the active spot.
But I hate this thing so much. It does frighten me.
It has a 3-hit 3 retreat cost. That's so bad. They literally just counter capture it up and then
Leave it
snipe
there.
the bench.
Yeah.
Our
I like
next
it.
Pokemon is Glimmet and Glamora. Glamora has the attack Corrosive Shards. 20 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. During your opponent's next turn, your opponent cannot attach any energy from their hand to the defending Pokemon.
The art on that's super pretty.
It is. It's a shame the attack sucks.
We've had plenty of good Glamors before it.
So which one?
The one there's one in
There's thing play where?
That's not what I mean.
Okay.
I mean better one. So it's fine that this
You've
one.
got
sucks.
plenty of good ones.
Well, I mean, in concept, Glamora X is not that bad.
In concept, but in concept, St. Louis pretty
Can I
good
say
too.
the next card is definitely
It
a
was never fun.
huge new tool for Ancient Box.
Yes, this card seems very good. Koraidon has the attack Intense Assault, which does 30 plus damage. If one of your other ancient Pokemon used an attack during the last turn, this attack does 150 more damage.
Jeez.
And it's fighting type now,
And it's
right?
fighting
Yeah, it's
type,
fighting
yeah.
type.
It
You could
is
also
a
throw a
goodness.
DT.
DTE on it.
I mean, Spain
Because
for
you can chain them between each other too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty. Ancient Box. is not
Like
gonna like
the
this.
the attack is already really good.
And because it's colorless too, you can use the darkness energies that you're using to power up the Roaring Moons.
Yeah,
It's just very good.
I think you literally replace the other Cridon with this one.
Well, yeah.
Well, the other Koraidon's already out of the deck anyway.
Yeah. Like, it's literally just Ancient. Ancient Box really just plays Roaring Moon right now.
Well, Roaring Moon and Walking Lake, but
And Fluttermane.
yeah, it's okay, yeah. Up next, we have Hydreigon EX. Hydreigon has the attack Crushing Heads, which does 200 damage. Discard the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. And then for Psychic Darkness, Metal Colorless, Obsidian, which is 130 damage. This attack also does 130 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon.
For cost,
So you're doing 4 costs, but you're effectively doing 130 damage to 3 Pokemon.
Just
Trifrost.
Trifrost at that point.
but honestly, the first attack is
I think
actually
you
pretty
play this
interesting
for
to
the
me.
first attack for sure.
I'm definitely building this in it.
I want to build this deck so bad.
In Eternal or Standard?
Eternal.
I wanna
Yeah,
build them
both.
both.
I want to build it in standard as well. I know it's a stage 2. I know it's probably gonna be a little clunky, but
Honestly,
I just wish we had
like
decent
the
files.
illustration rare for it.
The
too.
illustration for it's great.
Yes, it's pretty. It is definitely pretty. I do.
It's definitely one of my chase cards in the
The,
set.
the discard 3 while doing 200 damage is kind of a lot.
It's great.
Adding a dark patch to it, like
Yeah.
Eternal, throw a muscle band on that bad boy.
Yeah.
How much 220 is great.
Hey, you know my next spooky.
like as far as the standard
I'm gonna
goes,
play it
again,
too, so I'm with her.
if you're gonna run the crystal with it too, it's literally powered up in one turn. Dark
Yeah.
Patch powers it up in one turn. It's really good in my opinion.
Internal, it also has access to counter energy.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. You're not okay with being the Dragonbolt Bros in Eternal, but you're okay with being High Dragon Bros.
Look, I love Mill. Mill is one of my favorite archetypes. I love Hydreigon. It's great.
I think it does. It's not even a build card. It's just like a really
It
good.
might as well be.
It's just like let me damage you and mill you.
I have 2 win cons.
Yeah.
Up next is Graphite Eye. It has no serious paint that for a single color of energy. Attaches up to 3 energy cards from your opponent's discard pile to one of their Pokemon any way you like, or to their Pokemon any way you like.
Why?
Hey,
And then Energy Graffiti for 2 Darkness Energy does 40 damage times. So this is like just 40 damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon.
it says 3 energy cards from your opponent's discard pile, right?
Let me just help your Miraidon out. Why don't I?
But I mean, stuff that like has useless stuff, you can literally mess with their energy counts. Even special energies, put it on like Bibarels or
Here,
something
let
like
me put all your Ceruledge energy back on your field.
that. Put it onto Great Ninja.
Let me collapse Stadium then.
Yeah, we'll get a whopping 120 damage out of that too. It feels bad to me. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's a very much a meme deck that I want to play though.
Alone Dugtrio is bulk. We're gonna skip that.
He's so luscious.
Bronzong is also bulk.
Another bad Bronzong.
There's so many Bronzongs. It's ridiculous.
We need a good Bronzong. We need Metal Links. Give us
We have
Metal
so many
Links.
good Bronzongs. Let some other Pokemon see some goddamn play. Literally any.
What's a Blossom? Never heard of it.
Up next is Eternatus from Supercharged Breaker.
Woo!
Dynablast does 10 plus damage. If your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon EX, this attack does 80 more damage. So
Not
you're
enough.
not enough damage. No. And then it has for Fire Double Darkness, World's End.
Such a
Does
cool
230 damage. Discard a stadium card in play. If you can't, this attack does nothing.
Can we take some of that damage and add it to the first attack? Because I think the second attack has too much.
I think 230 is interesting in Eternal. I'm just curious how you power this guy up. Because it's vaguely reminiscent of Ultra Necrozma. It does 60 more damage. You don't have to shut the ability off, but the attack cost is worse.
Like I do like it.
The attack name is so cool.
Yes, it is.
I hope that's what it translates to.
It probably won't.
Oh.
They'll mess it up.
I want to somehow put it into standard because I love Eternatus, but discarding energy card.
I want to see if I can make a deck around Eternatus work in Eternal. I just don't know how yet.
in Eternal.
In Eternal.
Reggie Drago.
In Eternal.
There's better.
Reggie Drago.
Up next is Tatsugi EX. For Fire Water, you're doing Sucker Punch Pump, which does 100 damage. This attack's damage is not affected by any effects from your opponent's active Pokemon. And then the attack that everybody's talking about is for Fire Water Darkness, Cinnabar Lure. Look at the top 10 cards of your deck and put any number of Pokemon you find there onto your bench. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck.
This is crazy.
It's a bit ridiculous.
I wonder if I'll actually see play in standard.
No,
In Standard, I don't think so.
it's just the problem again is by the time you power it up and you're leaving a 2 prize when you're active, you really don't care. Like just, it's easier to just find the Pokemon and evolve them normally than just fill them up like that.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
You're still don't build it.
Hell no, no.
What?
That's not Sagiri.
I get to put all 3 Hydreigon's down on the bench. it takes a dark energy to attack. As
Speaking
well.
of interesting Pokemon, Slacking EX.
Hey, look,
Ability,
it's me and Clark.
slacking off. If your opponent has no Pokemon EX or Pokemon V in play, this Pokemon can't attack. The attack it has is Great Swing for 2 colorless energy. It does 280 damage. Discard an energy from this Pokemon.
Hey, quick question. Are you banning this?
Why would I ban this?
Okay, good. Just making sure.
It's fine.
This is a path to the
He's
peak
gonna run
moment.
out of
Yeah.
toxin.
I think it's fine. And in standard, it seems okay.
Yeah.
We need path reprint for this to, I think, be good.
If there were a path reprint, this card would be really good. Because 340 HP is good.
340 is so freaking much.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Be a big boy.
Now, it does have fighting weakness, which kind of sucks, but
With
For
that
items,
Koraidon,
that's
too.
yum.
Yeah.
it's still good. I don't know. It seems fine. Up next is Zangoose.
I like
Okay.
the art.
Wow, guys.
I said I
Yeah.
like the art.
I was talking about him. I'm doing it right off the bat. Fury Cutter says, Fury Cutter. 10 plus damage for 3 coins. If one of them is heads, its effect does 20 more damage. If two are heads, it does 50 more. And if all of them are heads, it does 80 more.
Oh,
So-
like 90 death.
Absolutely
So it
abysmal.
reads colorless. Ryan hits for 90.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, Survivor Game for life, or what?
It's so bad. I'm sorry. It's just bad.
It feels very reminiscent of like an old style of card design.
Yeah, it's not good. Okay, can we talk for a moment about how amazing this Kekumon's art is?
Is it
It
because
is
you're
bad.
biased? Is it because you're biased?
But it's so good, though.
It is, but you're also biased.
But it's good.
He's biased for a reason.
Oh,
Shinji Kondo's art is
God, it
amazing.
has Fezendipity's ability, but better.
If any damage is done to this Pokemon by attacks, put a coin. If heads, prevent that damage.
So it's literally
And
infiltrated on
it's
Dragon
buddy
Ball.
buddy poppinable. What the heck?
However, its attack,
Yeah.
Tongue Whip. This attack does 30 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon.
What's up? So
You're just getting it for the. You're getting it just for the art.
Yeah, it's an art collection piece.
make sure you get the
That's it.
reverse spoil.
He's getting both.
Bugger off. I'm gonna get another Buffalon because apparently one Buffalon is not enough in back-to-back sets.
Somebody Game Freak likes Buffalo.
And Tauros apparently.
Mhm.
It has a Waiting Horn, which does 40 damage. During your opponent's next turn, if this Pokemon is damaged by an attack, even if it is knocked out, put 6 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. And then for 4 colorless energy, Head Smash does 150 damage. Discard 2 energy from the soul.
So bad.
That's awful.
Meh.
And then Helioptile and Heliolisk, unfortunately, aren't very good either. They're both bulk. Rangaroo is. I'll talk about it.
Yo, is that resource Mitch?
No. No, it's not. That is not it at all. It does have shape weakness until the end of your next turn. The defending Pokemon's weakness is now colorless. The amount of weakness does not change.
It's an interesting.
And then, since that sucks, Mouse.
No, that mouse hold art is great.
The Mouse art is amazing.
That's so
Yeah.
awesome.
No. The art is great here. It's so fucking. It's so fucking funny.
They got
But-
sent through the multiverse. Holy shit. Honey, I shrunk all of
You know what it looks like? It looks like it like the.
It's like
no.
it's
I
like
tell you
Grand
exactly what
Magic
happened.
Bar.
They're at Area 0. The ground glitched. They fell through the ground down into the cave with Miraidon.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
Hey,
Okay.
you know how I was wanting to build a Mousehold in Eternal? Yeah, here we go.
yeah, this might be possible now. Family March says search your deck for the 2 Mousehold, including Mousehold EX, and put them onto the bench. Then shuffle your deck.
Oh, wait, that's so good actually.
Why not
Then-
just put something that said like with Mousehole in its name instead of
Because that's different.
That would have been
It's-
crazy.
It's Mousehold and Mousehold EX. And this is just specifying that it
Not
doesn't include
Mousehold
Mousehold.
GX.
I would
No,
have
but-
liked if it was 4 instead of 2,
How
or
could
at
it be
least
4?
quick.
or at least 3.
Quick question, Jason. In Pokemon, do they not have the distinction of with blank in its name?
Yes, they do, but that's different than this.
Really?
Yes.
So like, if something.
This would not allow, like, if a Mousehold GX existed, it wouldn't allow that.
Mhm.
It's
But
more
with Mousehold in
feature-looking.
its name, it does allow it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, why not just word it that way instead of
Because
just
they don't
wording-
want it that way.
It's future proofing is what it is, so they don't have to worry about past ones. That's what
Gotcha. So it's specifically like they can make a mouse hold GX later or
that
something
would
like that.
make that broken, but because it doesn't specify, it's fine.
Okay.
That's literally why they do stuff like that.
Continuous incisors does 30 times damage, flip 4 coins, attack does 30 damage for each heads.
Oh,
You are not using this unless you're really desperate.
Or you like flipping coins.
So the last Pokemon of this set for Supercharged Breaker is Terapagos, which has the attack Prism Charge. Search your deck for up to 3 basic energy cards of different types and attach them to your Terra Pokemon in any way you like, but then shuffle your deck.
It doesn't feel bad.
It's actually not
Like,
bad.
that's like a good starting attack, like good old fashioned. What's the Volcanion that did that sort of thing?
Yeah,
And like I mean, it doesn't do damage, but like that kind of acceleration is not bad on a single prizer.
The flare starter.
Yeah.
I do wonder if this is going to be too slow for current format, though.
Like, it just gets-
post-rotation,
it-
maybe.
Honestly, your opponent could just be like,
Nah,
okay, cool,
yeah.
keep it in the active.
Well, not even post rotation because the Dusknoir.
I
Honestly,
mean, you rescue board, you have the energy already on the tree.
I think it's too slow.
Okay.
You need to waste the rescue board despite having already the energy though.
Or just play Jet.
Amulet of Hope.
You call this computer switch at home.
We call this if it gets benched. Goodbye.
Lost vacuum.
If the Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, you may search your deck for up to 3 cards and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck.
In a format with lost vacuum, I don't think this is good.
Quick,
But
Caleb.
post rotation.
Post rotation,
Wait,
though?
Post rotation, there's a chance.
Caleb, put it on at 60 HP or so I could Dragon Bullet.
Although I don't see them not printing another tool removal card,
That-
like say just reprinting field.
I mean, they just they reprinted Lysander Labs,
I was gonna
which
say
is the
tower.
jamming tower.
yeah, the jam. I was gonna say the
Well, I
jamming
don't
tower
think that-
does jamming tower see more play after we lose lost vacuum?
Probably, yeah.
Probably some. I don't know. I just think they would reprint like Field Blower or something for a format like this.
Do they need to?
I mean, with the amount of, I think if ace specs weren't tools, I would say no. But because they are, I think Field Blower is kind of, or some tool removal is warranted.
But like the effect of the tower is fine too.
Yeah, but you just like the tower's bumpable. You know what I mean? And then you got your tools back.
But you play it just like you would in lost vacuum. You play it, you use it, and who cares if they bump it
I
later?
don't know.
Just play
That doesn't-
Genesect. Just play Genesect and throw a 2 on it.
It's easier to search an item than a stadium.
I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong. No.
Yeah, I think that might be the point.
Just play Mew EX and throw Genesect and Torseals down.
Up next is the Berry.
Oh, what?
Yes. When the Pokemon this card is attached to is attacked, that is damaged by an attack, like your opponent's metal type Pokemon, this Pokemon takes 60 less damage from that attack.
So this answers our question if we're getting every single type.
We are getting most types, if not all of them, yeah.
Except for Fairy.
Up next
What's up
is
there?
Carefree Cat Toy. You can use this card only if you go second and only on your first turn. Put an energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon into their hand.
Play discard fodder.
The fact
it's
that
fodder for me also.
that
It's basically a weakened version of Wait and See Hammer. Which did see play for what it's worth.
that's tweaking.
But it is weakened. I don't know. It's one of those cards that is as good as Meowstic, and Meowstic is only as good as Boss not being informant. Clement's Quick Thinking heals 60 damage from each of your lightning Pokemon.
Next.
Culver Berry is exactly the same thing as Every Berry, except for darkness types instead of metal.
This might see something.
Eh.
What? Because it's hard.
Because it's hard.
And Hydreigon.
Cyrano.
Or like you said, ancient box. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think So before we move on, I think Colbert Berry has the most potential of all the berries to be played.
I feel like it's really easy to deal with.
Lost Vacuum.
Loud
Love that cute.
Loud vacuum.
Jamming Tower.
Jamming Tower. Like, it's just not that interesting to me. If it were an active thing, like this is going to do 60 more damage against darkness type Pokemon, I'd be like, oh yeah, sure, run.
Which type do you think would have, like, of all the berries? Which type do you think would have more than just the darkness one?
Rainbow.
Here, Lumberry. Yeah.
Stellar Berry.
I
I
don't
hate you.
guys. Okay, Cyrano has the effect. Search your deck for up to 3 Pokemon EX, reveal them and put them in your hand, then shuffle your deck.
Can I complain for a second?
Sure.
Cyrano has one of the most like easing designs ever because his scarf is literally an Aegislash, and they did not put Aegislash in the DLC. And
His
it
scarf is an
pisses-
Aegislash?
His slate, like you know, Aegislash has like the
Yeah, the
swirl
little-
on his
yeah.
hands. The edges of his scarf, you can't really see it in the art, but it has the swirl of like the Aegislash swirl on it.
So he doesn't have any
And
Aegislash on his
it's
team? Because he's the
not-
final boss.
He's not
Nope.
even in the game.
It's not even in the game, and it pisses me off.
So, Collector at Home for Eternal.
Not
And
even. Up next is Excited Stadium, or as I originally referred to it, Amphitheater. I like that name much better, but it doesn't fit in the set that way. Basic Pokemon in play get 30 to HP.
Pretty solid.
It's good.
bumpable.
Let's have a 270 HP Raging Bolt.
But
One
even
thing-
better than that is Gravity Mountain. Stage 2 Pokemon in play get 30 less HP.
This is interesting.
This is what makes Pikachu kind of busted, honestly.
Because that makes it go from 300 to 330. And then Vitality Band makes it 340.
Yeah.
It's pretty
It can
crazy.
KO anything in form if it wants to.
Pikachu is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
We had Charizard as the best deck in format, and now we're about to have Pikachu as the best deck in format.
Yay, mascot.
Who saw it coming?
Everybody saw it coming. Up next is Jasmine's gaze. No word yet on where her streets are, but we got her gaze.
Good night, everybody. Thanks
And
for
that's
joining
the
us
end
on
of
the
the
stream.
stream. Let's go.
We're all here. We don't know where the straight ones are, but man, we are.
Have we seen an AR for her yet or anything?
Yes.
We saw a full art.
Yeah, we
We
have.
saw
Or-
full art.
no, okay.
Ladies and
I
gentlemen,
am very excited for Jasmine. Jasmine's my second favorite gym leader, so I'm super excited to see her as a card. Her effect's not awful. It's not great, but it's not awful.
She doesn't have clown lips.
Yeah, I was literally gonna say after that debacle that was Cosmic Eclipse, Jasmine, you seriously want another?
Stealing.
Yeah.
But her effect is during your opponent's next turn, each of your Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon after applying weakness and resistance. This includes new Pokemon that come into play.
Defensive archetypes might play one
Yeah.
of or something.
Jokes on you.
I could see Raja maybe in desperate situations.
I think a more streamlined version of Rush.
Yeah.
I like
Well,
it in
yeah,
my
it's a
Scizor
one.
deck, even though it's not. It's Scizor.
Yeah,
Let's reduce
it's
more damage.
it seems good. Like
Like
it's niche, but it seems like it could be good in a niche.
all archetypes that essentially want to survive the next turn, so that
Hey,
they can get
Sylveon and
back.
anyway.
packed up.
Up next is Miraculous Intercom.
I really like this,
I
honestly.
fucking hate this card.
Let's start with
It makes me angry too. Put up to 2 supporter cards from just card pile into your hand.
How hard was it to just give us Versus Seeker?
For the record,
I don't know.
I did call, what was it, like a couple years ago, about when we got when we got the word for A-Specs coming back after, what was it, Yokohama?
Modified.
Everyone was insisting that Versus Seeker would come back as an ace spec. For the
I-
record,
I
this is
called-
not Versus Seeker.
I called that if Versus Seeker didn't come back as an A-Spec, they're gonna do something similar to it, but it's gonna do 2 instead.
It's worthless. This card is bad. Like it's straight up bad.
Everyone clip that. A couple years from now.
So
I don't know.
okay. So it,
Here's the reason it's bad.
It's
Because you
not
can't run
Versus
4.
Seeker.
First of all, you can't run 4, but that's not even the reason. There are other ace specs that you would rather run in almost any situation. If this were a situation where this card were coming out in Temporal Forces and one of the best options in the pool of ace specs was Master Ball, then yes, Miraculous Intercom, surely a consideration. But we are not at that point anymore. We have a huge number of ace specs that are just so much better in basically every context that I just cannot find a situation where this is what you would be running in the deck instead of Legacy Energy or Prime Catcher or Secret Box.
I can
like-
control.
Even Control. Why would Control run this? It has Hero's Cape.
I feel like there's a certain point where it can do some of the things that other ace specs can do, and that like I'm thinking about like Raging Bolt, for example, because you can pull back Asadas and a boss and then do whichever one you need to do from that point on. That's like the situation I think it would be most useful in, but I agree that in most decks it would be pretty worthless.
Because essentially we're comparing it to Palpad. Palpad puts it into the deck. Is it worth using up your ace spec
Yeah.
to essentially get it directly into your hand when you could probably just dig for it afterwards?
And then a lot of times, like, how are you searching for this?
Arvin, and again, you can't play your supporter after that.
Okay, then. So again,
I get what you're saying. Essentially, it's not like you said. It's not versus seeker.
it's not Versus Seeker. It's just not as good as Versus Seeker. And one, because it's an ace spec. Two, because it's 2, which, I mean, that's not an upgrade. It's just
And
it's an
to be-
excuse to give it the ace spec badge.
And to be clear, obviously, it's versus seeker plus as an ace spec. So bringing back versus seeker as an ace spec would have the exact same problem. In fact, worse.
Yes, but at the same time, Versus Seeker does not need to be an ace spec. The card is not busted enough to be an ace spec.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I still think it's pretty busted for standard. It would open up so much stuff.
It would change how we build decks, but it wouldn't break anything.
It would make everyone discard their supporters with Ultra Ball, and I am all for that.
Yeah, have at it. This thing is a
And
lot of
then you
people
just
are
have
not
one
used to
thing.
playing. They're not used to thinking about how to play with Versus Seeker, and that's fine. They can
It
learn.
fundamentally changes the format, which I think, especially for
It would shake
people
up
playing
so
like
much.
Eternal, we have a leg up. I think on that because we've been
We
doing
play
it
it mostly with
We've
it.
been
Yeah.
doing it for years now. You know,
Yeah.
so like
It would
But
definitely.
the thing is, people play expanded too. I mean, I don't know how many there are, but they exist. Like expanded and eternal players
Shout out
both.
to like
But
the
that's,
10 of you.
but that's the thing, though. It expanded. It's a singleton format, so you only have one.
Expanded is not a singleton format.
It is
Oh,
not
I'm sorry.
a thing.
I'm thinking of GLC. My bad.
Yeah, I'm not talking about DLC. I'm talking about expanded.
People still play expanded.
Yes, I know. It's a surprise. Some people are masochists. Anyway,
True.
but expanded does exist, and
No,
it
it
does play Versus Seeker, and it's fine there too. Like in both expanded and eternal, Versus Seeker is just
Not an
fine.
issue.
Deck
And
building
the-
would change. Yes.
The pool of supporters is way the fuck more busted in either of those formats than it is in standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. You have convinced me. I agree with you.
So hear me out. What if we get a Guzma reprint and Versus Seeker?
That I don't know if Guzman needs to be reprinted.
I agree.
Guzman is a bit much. Is it broken? No, but
I
is
mean,
it a
maybe
little
that's why we haven't
overtuned?
gotten boss.
We haven't gotten boss because they're gonna wait until the last second to reprint it like they always do.
Probably. Probably the next year.
Which boss? Hey, so which boss goes on the new boss?
Who haven't
Sure.
we seen?
Cassiopeia.
True. It could be Cassiopeia. It could be like Archie Maxi. We haven't seen those.
It could be.
Ooh,
It
that
could
would
be.
really
It
nice.
could be a villain from.
Well,
They put
hold on.
chorus on it.
So hold on. What do you think? Because we're getting the rocket set, do you think it's just gonna be Giovanni again?
It could be Giovanni again.
I mean, it could be like
It could be one of the admins from
yeah,
that.
a
Can we
Rocket
get
from
Rocket's
Rocket.
admin back?
I
Yeah,
mean, sure.
the admins aren't bosses.
They're not. But at the same time, like, I them not reprinting boss yet is not scary. They waited literally right until the last second to reprint boss's orders when they printed it in Brilliant Stars. They did exactly the same thing with Professor's Research when they reprinted it in Scarlet and Violet. Like, I'm not concerned at all.
Do you think they're still gonna be evergreen research and boss?
Do I want them to be evergreen? No, I
Do
actually
you
don't.
think they will be though?
I think they probably will be. If I were to design standard, I would the format would not have Professor's Research in it. I would the main draw supporter in that format would be Lorelei, which is for my original format. That's basically you take your hand, shuffle it, put it on your deck, draw 6.
So specifically, Iono at full power.
It's basically Cynthia, but without the constant shuffling of your deck, which is better. That would be the main draw support. Counter Catcher would also not exist. Prime Catcher would not exist. Pokemon Catcher would not exist. The effect of Counter Catcher would be Boss's Orders. So Counter Catcher would then, or Boss's Orders rather, would take Counter Catcher's effect. So it would be a supporter card that you could play, and you would only be able to play
So
it if you were
Gust
behind.
would be like even
If you were behind,
yeah.
and only if you were behind. Now that the flip side of that is that effect would now be versus seekerable because I would have versus seeker in the format, but at the same time, boss would not be in the format.
So not
as
even
is.
Guzman. You would literally
No.
play.
The effect of counter catcher would become a supporter effect.
Interesting.
That seems like a really
You can build. It
Weird.
feels like it's a very safe for the bench. Honestly.
But now let me tell the rest.
Okay.
As trainer cards, the rest of the effect would still exist in ability form. So something like Nine Temptations from the I think it's Team Up Ninetales, that would also exist.
And then is that per turn?
So you just discard 2 fire energies and you get Gust.
Is that the same, the original one from like Call of Legends and stuff like that?
You're thinking of something else.
Ninetales?
that one is Roast Reveal.
We're not talking
Oh,
about Roast Reveal, we're talking
okay.
about Nine Temptations.
Ah!
Nine Temptations is once during your turn before you attack, you may discard 2 fire energy cards from your hand. If you do, switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active Pokemon. So you have effects like this one instead of boss. Now, not necessarily this one specifically. It could be upon evolution, you get a boss, stuff like that.
Fair.
Where you have to evolve to get the boss effect. You can't just do it because you have a card.
I feel like that's a very Luxray level X format.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which people love that format, I guess.
Well, to be fair though,
I-
it doesn't have to be on a Roblox Pokemon, and I think it probably shouldn't be on a Roblox Pokemon. That's another
I
conversation.
like you targeted that.
We should probably move on because we've talked about this card for too long. Next
cards left.
is Mystery Set. Mystery Set says look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may put them back in any order, or shuffle those cards and put them on the bottom of your deck.
I've heard a lot of mixed things about this card.
This card seems bad. I'm sorry. Like, you're looking at 3 cards, sure, whatever. But you have to actually draw those cards.
Play
You
it
may
all.
put them at the back of, put them back in any order, or shuffle those cards and put them on the bottom of the deck.
Right. So basically, you're just praying that the top 3 cards are garbage. You can put them on the bottom, or you can somehow put the card you need for next turn on the top of your deck, or you have like a teal. It's like a teal mask. Like, at that point, just play something better.
I could have used that in the Sarlach deck.
I didn't know. I'm not impressed by Mystery Set.
And it's not combinable with like any of the supporters or anything like that to put at the top of your like
next.
Cypher.
We're not going to talk about Scramble Switch?
Oh, that is the set, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Scramble Switch is a reprint of an A spec from a long way time ago, back in Plasma Storm. Switch your active Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. Then you may move as many energy attached to the old active Pokemon to the new active Pokemon as you like.
I'm actually happy this card got a reprint. I don't
I
know
am
what
too.
it goes in, but I'm happy it's here.
I'm with you. I don't think necessarily that it will go in anything right away, but I'm glad it got a reprint. I think it deserves it.
Solid.
It's a good card. It's not broken. It's fun. Sure. Have at it.
Just essentially, hey, by
Like the
you just damaged my Pokemon. Let me switch it out for a fresh.
Like the only deck I can think of that would run this already runs it in Eternal. And that's what it would, it's already in
The
Eternal.
way I see it is like Scramble Switch is the sort of card you would play in a deck where it's not easily one-shottable, and you don't want to discard all of your cards, picking it up with Turo. So you move all that energy to a new active, then Turo away without having to discard.
And of course, it also brings up the same problem that is that worth taking up your A-spec slot?
I mean, you're preventing knockouts.
In very specific situations, sure. But it'd be the same kind of situations.
Cyclone.
Yeah, but this
This
lets you
preserves the energy in play, though.
Yeah, it lets you have a constant attack.
This makes it so you have a Pokemon powered up already. Which in Eternal, the Charizard deck, generally what it does is it gets hit, the active Charizard EX gets hit, not managed to be knocked out, and then it powers up a a Roaring Resolve Charizard on the bench by scramble switching into it and nuking the living shit out of whatever's in the active. But because it's a single prizer, it's really hard to take down, even though it just one shot the living heck out of
Yeah,
whatever
I
it was.
played that list. I want a second one of those in there.
It's very good. Yeah, it's very, very good. But I again, I think Scramble Switch, I'm glad that it's being reprinted. Is it going to go into decks right away? Probably not, but it's not bad. It's an option to consider at the very least. Up next is Technical Machine Fluorite. The Pokemon this card's attached to can use the attack on this card. You still need the necessary energy to use this attack. If this attack is attached to one of your Pokemon, discard it at the end of your turn. Grass, Water, Psychic, Fluorite. Discard all energy from this Pokemon. Then heal all damage from each of your Terra Pokemon.
It's bad.
The
Crap.
Cramorant.
Yeah.
What Terra deck are you trying to heal damage from?
I don't know.
Look, man, we're trying to make it work.
We're trying to figure out why it could be
you can
okay.
do it with Cramorant, but like, how are you gonna get 4 in the discard in just any given Terra deck?
Well, and to lost on even.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's
Lost
it's
it.
very niche and probably not good, but it's vaguely interesting. Cramorant could theoretically use it for free. Like, what you could do is if you play the Lost Zone version of Sylveon, because Sylveon is a Terra Pokemon, Cramorant could do it for free. You have a couple of damaged Sylveons on the bench. You throw Fluorite on the Cramorant in the active, heal off all the damage on both the Sylveons.
That's so much. We're
Oh,
really
it's
trying.
wombo combo. It's super wombo combo. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not, but it's theoretically doable.
What about in is there anything that can make use of TMs for free in Eternal?
Cramorant. There too.
Do we have a card now that can search out teams too?
Not yet. We'll
Do
be
we have a
next
Terra
time.
badge? Terra badge would be great.
But I think the only other card that we can look at here is another gym promo card that we should we don't know for certain, but should be getting in Supercharged Breaker. This is Time. The effective time is put a Pokemon from your hand face down in front of you and tell your opponent its name. Your opponent guesses the HP of that Pokemon, and then you reveal it. If your opponent guessed right, they draw 4 cards. If they guessed wrong, you draw 4 cards. Return the Pokemon to your hand.
So +4.
For your opponent, most likely.
This is called a meta knowledge check.
Do you know how much HP my Pokemon has?
How much HP?
You know what upsets me about this?
Hmm.
I'm trying to make a collection of full art trainers from the Paldea region, and thanks to this, Atticus and Briar, I'm not gonna have full arts for these.
Why not Briar?
I'm sorry, not Briar. Bracious, sorry.
Brashes.
Bracious.
They will probably get their full arts in the upcoming set.
I was gonna say like some sort of like special like counting it.
Mhm.
I just need a full art. That's all. I need a full art of this.
But even still, the card's bad. Just saying. That is it though for Supercharged Breaker. Our last card here is actually from Paradise Dragona. So that is us wrap for this set. What do you guys think of this card set overall?
Pikachu.
I think this is a lot better than Paradise Dragona for the record. I think this set is. I think Surging Sparks is a decent set when compared with Stellar Crown. What do you think?
Pikachu.
Compared to Stellar Crown, you think it's better than Stellar Crown?
I do.
Yes.
I agree. I think the Pikachu alone makes it better.
Yeah, that Pikachu is terrifying.
And
So-
there's a lot more interesting aspects, in my opinion.
Quick question: are we guessing pre-release promos?
We don't need to. We already know all 4 of them.
Really?
What are they?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we know all 4 of them. We
For the
we actually saw several of them before.
actually
we
for
saw-
the first time, the
Oh,
ETB
right.
the
10,000.
ETB promo is
Oh, yeah.
also pre-release promo.
Right, I remember.
Really? Oh, the Magneton.
Yep.
Okay, I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah, because he needs all 4
Why out for it?
because this Magneton collection.
Well,
But
yeah.
He
Gouging,
needs-
Fire, Chen Pao, Magneton, and Indeedee.
Boo.
This one is by far the Magneton.
Yes. I think Chen Pao is pretty good too.
Yeah.
But those 2 are the ones you want for playing
I don't know
purposes.
if Magneton's good for a pre-release one. But
For pre-release format, no, it's terrible. But for playing purposes, yes, it's good.
I mean, I can, 4 prizes. I can.
Yeah,
I
I
can get
think,
rid of
Yeah,
one.
I think the Koraidon should have been one.
Honestly, they all kind of suck for pre-release.
Honestly, though, like, do you really think Magneton sucks for pre-release? Because I feel like I can give up a single price to power up. Hopefully, I pulled the X.
No.
I can give up a price.
You know,
Yes.
I note that down for when I play against him that he
And
needs to give me
roll
a
him over.
prize.
Mhm.
Well, knowing me, I'm gonna get the freaking Indeedee.
Still note it down.
Honestly, Indeedee is not bad in pre-release format.
What's it do again?
Obliging Heal. When you place Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may heal 30 damage from your active Pokemon and have it recover from a special condition. Special conditions get really spammy in pre-release.
Yeah.
So like
Is
this
there anything that has
could-
really big special conditions? I think there was a
I mean,
paralysis
they're,
one, the
they're all
flippy
over
one.
the format, yeah, for pre-release.
I need
So
the kitty.
theoretically,
I need the murder kitty.
yeah, America wants you to. But that is gonna be it for today's video. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed our first impressions from Supercharged Breaker, which is gonna become part of our Surging Sparks set here in November. Pre-releases start in just 2 weeks as of the day we're streaming. So yeah, it's coming real quick. Definitely keep an eye out for that. Grab some boxes and pre-order them as you can. But that is it from us today. Hopefully you enjoyed. We'll see you again on Monday for Eternal Monday and on Wednesday for the next episode of the bonus. Keep an eye out for Sylveon versus Saraledge EX. See you on the next one.